Hi, everybody. This is the Baseball Hut, the amazing, spectacular, terrific, the great one, the people's champion, your host, the Hut. And, of course, we're getting a few more days away from the Major League Baseball winter meetings. And hopefully we'll get some trades and some signings just throughout Major League Baseball. It's been very quiet. Hopefully things will pick up this week. A little bit of news. Matthew Boyd went back to the Tigers. They signed him to a $10 million contract. Crazy. Wouldn't do that with that guy. How many games under 500 say? Man. But the New York Mets. So SNY put out a proposed trade on their program last night on, I guess it was Mets Hot Stove. I'm going to put this out there now. Here's the trade. The Mets would send 3 prospects. Kevin Parada, who's a catching prospect, the number 1 pick that they drafted this past season, who fell in their lap, actually, and he's a catcher. So the Mets obviously have catching depth to give up in their minor leagues. He's their 3rd best prospect. Alex Ramirez, who I believe is their 4th or 5th best prospect, who's a center fielder. I believe he was playing in Brooklyn this past year. And another outfielder called Stanley Consequero. I don't know much about him. I think he's sort of been a middling kind of minor leaguer. But I think he's like the 25th best prospect the Mets have. And the Mets would get in return Mark Melancon, who has been he's been sort of a middle reliever, but he's been a closer. He's a veteran guy. And the Mets will be taking money back, obviously, with this contract. But the big player in this deal for the Mets would be getting back Zac Gallen, who was the ace of the Diamondbacks rotation. And he's got great stuff. Last year, in 2022, he won 12 games and was one of the best pitchers in the game. This is a trade that is unrealistic. This was a trade that was proposed by David Lennon of Newsday. And David, you got to do a better job than this. I mean, Jim Duquette basically said that they need to give more to the Diamondbacks. There could be some interesting things with the Diamondbacks. I'll get into that in a second, what the Mets could do. But this is not enough. This is not enough in terms of bringing in Gallen. You'd have to give at least good 4 prospects. You'd have to give us some pitching prospects, which the Mets don't have a lot of. But they would have to give maybe 3 or 2 more pieces in this deal. I don't know if Consequero would be something that the Diamondbacks would want to have in return for Gallen. Ramirez and Parada, certainly, but that's just not enough. I understand the Mets will be taking back some money, some money back with excuse me, with Melancon, but it's just not enough. I would point this out again. I proposed a trade earlier in the offseason that the Mets should trade James McCann for Madison Bumgarner. You have 2 bad contracts. 2 guys that, one guy has no real place to play here, is considering the Mets have a better catcher in Nido, and they have Alvarez on the verge of being here on a regular basis. And obviously, Madison Bumgarner is not what he was, but he probably needs a change of scenery, and getting out of Arizona, which is a bad situation right now, and going to a place that is extremely competitive, would certainly revive his career. He's not an old guy. Was he 31 years old? 31 years old? So he's not an old man by any stretch of the imagination. That's Bumgarner. So to me, that would make a lot more sense. You take back some bad money. You get a guy that has been fairly healthy for the most part the last 2-3 years in your rotation. He'd be on a better team. He'd be in a better situation overall. So, but let me know what you think about that. And, of course, let me know what you think about the Zac Gallen trade. It doesn't seem like this would be enough for the Diamondbacks to be interested in moving one of their best players. It doesn't. It's just not enough. They need to give. The Mets had to give more pieces in this kind of a trade. Also, I don't expect the Mets to make a big move in terms of a trade, to be honest with you. I know that they've been discussing a lot of players since the offseason. I know that they're going to be making moves, but I don't know to what extent, what kind of big player. I don't think there's going to be any big player acquisition happening for the Mets in terms of as a trade. Free agency is a different story. Brandon Nimmo's still sitting there. I don't know if he's coming back. I think Jacob deGrom's coming back. I think they'll sign one of the guys that have been here. I think Chris Bassett could come back, or Taijuan Walker can come back, but we'll see. So thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe to the Baseball Hut. We'll have plenty of stuff out there. I'll be back very shortly. Thank you, and I'll see you later.